Aloha everybody, this is Tiggy Maximus with Tiggy Maximus Talks, episode 140 on YouTube. Thank you guys for listening to all these episodes if you have been, or at least some. Remember to like, follow, subscribe the episodes on the podcast, Tiggy Maximus Talks, on Spotify and YouTube. Anything's appreciated, guys. And also, if you want to make a small donation towards the podcast, there is a link on my Spotify episodes where you can click on it and make a small donation. Anything's appreciated, guys. I want to get on here pretty quickly. I want to talk about two great comedy shows I've been to this past week. Tuesday night, I was at the B&S brewery in Santee, part of the Cash comedy shows he does. First time there. And then I also went to the Comedy Store in La Jolla for Pretty Funny Women. Your headliner was Lin Sun. So let's talk about Tuesday night. So there's always been a stigma about Santee. I guess according to some and maybe a lot of the comics, they call it Clan T. And I guess Cash probably doesn't like Santee too much, but I mean, there's some good folks out there. And personally, I haven't felt any kind of racism or anything, but I guess there's a past history there has been some sort of racism back then, but in this case, it was not the case at the show. I didn't encounter anything like that. But what's great is that I got some people to join me. I got my buddies Mark and Gilbert to join me. Since it was kind of close to them anyway. So your headliner was Jarwan Nelson. Pretty funny guy. Always a great show whenever he's performing. Always great improv. Great with, crowd work. And then you have a great lineup with Linda Schwartz and Melissa Wiseman. And of course, Cash should be. So Cash started the show after everybody got their tacos. It was Taco Tuesday. I guess the taco truck or taco stand that was there at the B&S brewery is, I guess they go by the name Taquisas Les Chuys. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but they had some tasty tacos. I had 6 tacos. Yes, I said it, 6 tacos. 6 tacos came out to like $21. I got 2 carne asada tacos, 2 pollo asado tacos, 1 grilled beef taco, and I think I got a marinated pork taco. Comes with everything, onions, cilantro, guacamole. So they're pretty tasty. I'm glad I got 6. Kind of filled me up. But after that, Cash did his set. Nothing out of the ordinary. It was mostly the old stuff with, you're talking about his race, what people think of his race. So, it was mostly old stuff, and I got kind of used to it. So yeah, Cash likes to do a lot of crowd work for his hosting and stuff, so it was like that pretty much all night. Cash, I would say he was about 7.7 out of 10 for his comedy with the hosting. Um, let's see. And then we got, I believe it was Linda Schwartz. She went up. Great seeing her. She talked about bringing egg rolls to a barbecue out in Tennessee. I think it was in Tennessee or Kentucky or something. So, somewhere out there in the South. So, and then she talked about how her brothers were very part of like a gang and stuff, the Asian boys. Not very creative. And then I guess she said that her mom's very like, part of the thug life. Talked about advance lying and advance interrogation. Then I guess she said that she called Linda to kind of bail her out, depending after all that special stuff that she was doing, like saying the alphabet in a special way, and then I guess those whole thing about seatbelts, I guess. Anywho, let's see, and then Linda talked about how she married I guess a white guy, 14 years older than her, and asked Linda, you don't have to work if you don't want to, as I guess part of the proposal, I guess, or leading up to the proposal. So that was an interesting one. So yeah, Linda, she got some good laughs from the crowd. She was about a 8 out of 10 for her comedy. And then we brought up Melissa Wiseman. Pearl was actually sitting right behind me in her carriage. Melissa had some good material, good jokes. Crowd liked a lot of her stuff. She did some great crowd work. Crowd seems to love her after the show. So she was like a 8.5 out of 10 with her stuff. Talking about the the milk, breast milk. That was fun. Let's see. And the whole thing with the Korean guy, 20 centimeters, how she learned the metric system. So yeah, 8.5 for her performance on Tuesday. And then you got your headliner, Jarwan Nelson, did purely 90% all crowd work. Got to know more about this family, husband and wife, who brought their mom and dad with them, and apparently they also brought their kids. And then it got pretty funny. And then there's this one other couple that was asked. Jarwan asked the guy, "You came from Detroit, but you came to Santee. What was the connection and stuff?" And then he was trying to I guess debunk the fact that the guy said work and stuff, and like, no, it can't be just work to go from Detroit to Santee. And then some person, might be someone behind them, or maybe it was the girl that said it, that said good pussy or something. And then that got a big laugh, and then Jarwan kind of emphasized that on stage, that yeah, good pussy, that explains a lot, versus work to go from Detroit to Santee. So that was fun. And then Jarwan kind of went around the room almost, gave me a shout out somewhat, I think towards the end or something of his set. That was pretty cool. Overall, the crowd liked him a lot. Um, for this kind of crowd, there was a lot of laughing going on. And then Jarwan had like basically this one funny joke at the end to kind of not close it out, but like it was a nice way to kind of relate to the young crowd that was part of that family, with the grandparents, the husband and wife, and the 2, 3 kids or whatever that was there. Jarwan was talking about how these 3 women went into heaven, and God said, you know, there's all these ducks here up in heaven, and if you don't step on any of these ducks, you get rewarded. But if you step on one, you're gonna get paired up with like the ugliest person. So the first 2 ladies, they stepped on ducks, as Jarwan had told it, and they got paired up with an ugly guy for all of time or something. And then the 3rd lady didn't step on a duck, and then I guess she got paired with the most handsome guy. And then I guess when the lady had talked to the guy, like, how'd you get here? And then the guy says, I don't know how I got here, but I stepped on a duck. Then I just like laughed and laughed. Oh my god, that was super funny. That's why I like Jarwan a lot, no matter what kind of show he's on. He always brings it, and he has an idea for a comedy game show, which is I'm very intrigued by. So I can't wait to see how that turns out. So can't wait for that first show to happen. Jarwan Nelson, I give him a 9 out of 10 for his overall comedy. Great crowd work, great reception for his set, and you know, he always brings it, never bombs. So glad I get to go to his shows. Got some pictures with everybody. Got Mark and Gilbert to take pictures with all of them too. So I want to feel them included. That's how I am. And then there was a Pretty Funny Women comedy show in La Jolla. The show is produced by Lisa Sunset, but she wasn't there, but she had someone host. It was Alyssa. Seen her quite a bit. Good friends with Jen Liv. She's at the forefront of the writer's strike. So that was pretty awesome. The headliner was Lin Sun, so she wanted me to come out and see her. You know what? I couldn't say no. I knew she was gonna have a good set. So the show had a lot of women on it, and then you have Alyssa, brought the energy, great energy hosting and throughout the whole show. Alyssa, I would say that she probably did. I would say she was about an 8.3 with her comedy, and then Mike Vinn had actually started off the show to kind of warm up the crowd. It was pretty much the same stuff I've heard before from Mike Vinn. I would say Mike got about maybe an 8 out of 10 for his comedy. Next, I believe her name was Carly. I think her name was Carly Tatiana. She shaved her head. She talked about how no, it's not from cancer, no, it's not from some sort of special disease or something. I think she shaved her head for her own reasons. And then she talked about how I guess her husband or most men do this thing where they do the helicopter with their penis, and it says that is the most unattractive thing to ever see. But that was pretty funny. I think Carly, I would say her set was about 8.5 out of 10, so great stuff. And then I believe there was Ashley Harper. She talked about how she can't sing. Talked about having memories with her grandma with dementia. She did pretty well. I thought she was an 8.5 out of 10 as well. We also have a Megan Wilson, or Megan Ashley Wilson. She kind of reminds me of a redheaded librarian with glasses on. So, I thought she was a 8.3 out of 10 for her comedy. And then we have Dr. Botox, Danielle Collins, I believe her name is. She talked about, being Irish, the Botox stuff, and pretty funny. I would say she's about an 8.5 as well. And then I believe there was Ariel Cole. She was alright. I would say she's about an 8.1 out of 10. She talked about how she rammed a Tesla and the girl was complaining and crying about not making it to yoga, and then all of a sudden Ariel was saying, I want to be you to the lady. Seeing how she likes to live the LA life where you go have a Tesla and then you go do yoga, and then I guess because she hit her or something, she was her inspiration and found her inspiration during the car crash. So that was pretty fun. But other than that, not as big a reaction as the other comics. Let's see, who else? Let's see. There was a Tatum Price. She did talk about like some sports in her set, so that was something. She had a good reaction. I would say she's about an 8.4 out of 10 for her comedy. Who else? There's someone else. She's writing a musical, and she also talked about how she was kind of shaking her goods because she apparently had she acknowledged that she had like cleavage, and then telling she was acknowledging that when she was trying to get her piano set up and everything. That was pretty funny though. She had a musical and she was going to give us a preview. I think she had us all talk about Hayden Big Dicks, and then it became like a chorus thing going on and stuff, so that was something. That was pretty funny. Shoot, what was her name? Anywho, I thought that was pretty funny. She was about a 8.5 out of 10. I'll probably mention on my next episode if I remember the name. But anywho, and then we got to your headliner. Your headliner was Lin Sun. It was always great to see her. She had some new material, it seems, and she mixed in some old stuff, like how many hand jobs she gives in a year. But she talked about, she doesn't like blowjobs because she has no neck. You're poking my heart. Those are fun stuff. She talked about how she looks like she could drive a big rig. Um, uh, so a lot of great stuff. I enjoyed her set. Um, I would say she was about a 8.8 out of 10 for her comedy. Crowd loved it a lot out of everybody. Um, so that was a good lineup of women actually. So I'm glad I got to go. Um, so yeah, next time I talk to you guys, I'll be talking about a show that happened on Thursday. That was a Don't Tell comedy show out in Hillcrest, hosted by Aaron Monte, and the headliner apparently was Justin Clark. And then that was in a candy store in Hillcrest called Candy Pushers. And then another show I went to last night, it was at the San Pasqual Winery inside the Toast Bubble Bar. I got to dress up as my costume from last Saturday. And your headliner was Dustin Chafin. And it was hosted by Al Gabby, and the show was produced by Melissa Wiseman. So talk more about that later. And I'll talk to you guys more about what happened during the Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou super fight. Best of MMA versus the best of boxing out in Saudi Arabia. No title on the line, but I gotta say, guys, this fight impressed a lot of people. Alright, guys, gotta go. You know the saying goes. Boom! Tiggy Maximus signing off. Bye. Later, guys. By the way, guys, that comic I was talking about with the musical, her name was Liza Deli Tiamson. So, there you have it, guys. Alright, talk to you guys later. This is Tiggy Maximus signing off. Boom! Tiggy Maximus. Bye.